It's time to wire the P base. Alright gang, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to wire up the P base. We're going to wire the controls, and then we're going to wire the pickups to the controls and to the pick guard. And what I did was make a template of the back of the pick guard out of an old clipboard. And I cut it out, drilled the holes in it, so the holes all match up with the pick guard. So I can mount my jack, my pots here, and I can do all the work, and I don't have to keep maneuvering on the pick guard itself. And, well, first of all, I got these cool Jim Dunlop super pots on here. These are 250K smooth shaft, and this is a pure tone jack. Pure tone jacks have the extra prongs on there. See that? So when your jack comes in, it has extra connections. Still a mono jack with a hot and a ground, but it just has extra prongs. Okay, as far as the pickups go, these are DiMarzio Model P. It's actually a humbucker. It's comprised of two pieces. Mounted these in the body, have the bridge mounted on here. Here's our bridge ground wire, which I did all that off camera because it's kind of boring. This part, what I did was take the pick guard, put it on here, drop these suckers down in there. Now, down along the side here, this is the foam, it's thick foam, rubber foam that came in the package with these. And since they don't have springs on them, the foam acts as a cushion. Just put the foam down in there, put the pick guard on, stuck these in, lined everything up, took the screws, pushed them down through the holes, made a mark in the foil tape, and then when I put them down in there and I was ready to drive the screw in, I put the screw down in there and I could feel where it seated into the little dent I made, and then I drove them in. Now, as far as the height goes, I'm not sure until I get everything done and the pick guard on. Now, these each have a bunch of wires coming off of them. What I have to do is take this black wire and this white wire from this one, solder those two together. Then this green wire goes to ground. This red wire goes to the volume pot, and these two gray wires are grounds. So that's how they're going to get wired. This guy here, my volume pot, I'll have a ground this lug to the top, and all the grounds from the pickups will ground also to the top of the volume pot. Then I'll have a wire going from the volume to the tone. I'll have a capacitor on the tone, 0.047 capacitor I'm going to be using on there. And then I'll run My ground wire from the bridge will also get soldered to the top of the volume pot. Then I will have a hot wire from the volume pot to the hot pickup, or the hot tab on the jack, and a ground from volume to the ground on the jack. And that will be all there is to it. Then I can take these off of here. Everything will be all wired together. Oh, there's also a ground going from this one to this one, which I'll do on the side with a solid ground wire. And I can take these off, mount these into the pickguard, these 3 pieces, and the wires will all be just the right length. And then I flip the pickguard over, put it in, put the screws in. I've already pre-marked the holes. Probably can't see them too well. And then we'll be ready to put strings on it. Alright, before I actually get started on the soldering portion here, I just want to show you a few things. First of all, I have my soldering iron over here. It's all set up. It's nice and hot. What I'm going to do is, right now, I make sure I have my wet sponge here, and I clean this off real well. Then I'm going to tin this a little bit. Just put a little bit of solder on the end there. Just let that go. A couple things I wanted to show you. This is bare ground wire, which I'm going to use to ground this lug to the top of the pot, and a piece to go from here to here. Okay, and for this base I'm going to use, this is, I don't know, it's actually kind of blue pushback wire, and I have this yellow. I use this for the ground wire, so I'm going to use it for the other grounds that I need on here as well. I have a ton of the black and the white, but this piece base, blue and yellow. Blue and yellow makes green, peaceful. I know, whatever. I want to use this stuff up, so I'm using it. Okay, I need a jumper from this pot to this pot. It's going to go from this end tab to this end, to the center tab. So what I do is I'll measure. The nice thing about this, one of the nice things about this pushback wire is that, unlike the other wire that I've done most of my guitars with, the regular wire with a silicone that's all over the place, kind of like what they use in those pickups, this goes where it stays where you put it. So I'm going to measure, okay, from this pot to this pot, and a little bit over because I'm going to bend a little bit down in between there. So I'll kind of just measure past it on each side, and just clip that piece. Whoa, and there it goes across the room. Then I need a hot to go from this piece, this tab, to the hot post on the jack, which is actually this one. This one is the center piece. That's the ground. So I'm not going to run it this way, I'm going to run it this way. So I need another piece of this. This is going to go from here to here. So I'll make it about that long. Cut that piece. Make sure this one doesn't go flying off into the sunset. All right, that's it for my hots. Now I need a ground to go from here to wherever I want to ground it to, which will be this lug, furthest right lug on the tone volume pot. So I'll measure a piece that goes from here to here. Give it a little extra for bending. Okay. Now I need a piece of this. Little trick, when you have wire like this on a spool and you don't want to always use tape on it, I just take a piece of that regular silicone covered flimsy wire, just tie it around there, and it kind of holds this in place. So I need a piece to go from here to the top of this. So I'll just cut that off about right there. It should be good for that. And then I need a piece to go from here to here. So something like that. All right. Now let's see. This is that one. This, oh, gotta go pick that one up off the floor. And I also need the red wire coming in, the green wire from the, which we'll do last. Now I need a capacitor that's going to go from this, this lug to the top of this. I have this 0.047 paper and oil Russian capacitor. You may see these on eBay, and you may see guys using these. So what I want to do is ground this onto here. Exactly how I'm going to do that, I do not know. Maybe across the top like this. All right, not quite sure about that. And the other thing that I'm going to do is put on one of my treble bleed units. Now you can use these on guitar and on bass. This is a what I call the Kinman style, Chris Kinman style. It is a 0.0012 capacitor and 130K resistor wired in series. So what I did was cut the extra ends of the leads off of this, so there's just enough to go in, goes in the volume pot, these first two lugs. just like that. And that will help keep the treble involved in the signal as the volume gets turned down. I know this is a bass. Don't want too much treble in a bass, but you also don't want no treble in a bass. So anyway, it's my guitar. I want to put it in. I'm putting it in. Okay, so that's pretty much all we have to do. This guy's starting to confuse me a little bit. Might have to rethink how I want to do this, because it's a little big. It's not as big as some. I have some that are like this, but I could also wire this from, depends on what schematic you look at. A lot of these have it going to, this has it going to the end pot. A lot of them have it going to the center pot, center port, and some of them actually have it going from the center port here over to this lug on this pot, which I could do in an elevated kind of a state. Okay, not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but that's what I'm going to do. All right, the soldering of the components is finished. All right, what we got here, we got a ground wire to the volume pot. We got a hot wire to the volume pot. We got a treble bleed. We got a 47 capacitor. We got a ground from this lug to the top and a ground from here to here. So now I wanted to show you this. I'm ready to take this out, transfer it into the pickguard. And big reveal, pickguard is mint green. Whoa, it's awesome. So I already took the nut off for the jack. There's one of the pots. Here's the other one. See, now I can pop this out of my jig. I can use this again if I do another P bass. And everything's intact. Now I should be able to simply stick these right in here, like so. But for the time being, I'm just going to put them on just tight enough so they don't go anywhere. Here we go. Here we go. And everything should fit in the cavity. I'm thinking, without any problem. In fact, I know it will. All right, so now we have to solder the ground wire to here, these two ground wires to here, this green wire to here, and this red wire to here. I already connected the black and the white. Probably can't see that. Connect the two parts of the humbucker together. Soldered those two wires together, put a piece of heat shrink over it, and then I slipped a big piece of heat shrink over this so I can just kind of tuck this out of the way. Now, I'm going to have to make the decision where to cut these off. I don't want to cut too much wire off, but I'm also not really fond of having a shit ton of loose wire curled around inside here. So I have these kinked at what I thought would be an appropriate length. So if I put these on at these kinks right here and right here, I can flip this over. Have plenty of room. There's a good inch and a half of wire in there to play with. So that's what I'm going to do. And of course, you remember you can't put wire back after you cut it, but I think I have enough here. Double check. They say measure twice, cut once. Or me, measure 40 times, cut 3 times, throw it all out, buy a new one, start over. There's the kink. That should be good. It's actually going to be like way too much wire for my taste, but gotta make a decision. And there it is. Made it. I have my wire stripper here. This is a pretty good wire stripper. This is, I don't know how much I paid for this, couple bucks on Harbor Freight. Nice. Same thing goes with this ground wire. Need to have enough room for this to reach the volume pot. I have a kink in it. It's probably way too long, but all right. Tin this up with a little bit of solder. Okay, now that's good and tinned. Oh, this is nerve-wracking here. All right. First things first. Get this ground wire on here. I like to use tweezers, sometimes a screwdriver, sometimes heat sinks. Heat sinks are pretty awesome. Oh, come on, man. See, this is a time when I need something a little more. Something a little more sturdy. Starting to regret this tip. I have one here. Oh, that's sloppy. That is really sloppy. All right, I'm going to take these 2 gray wires, which are grounds, twist them together. This green wire is a ground. I'm going to twist those together. All right, something like that. All right, look, I don't think you can see any of this. Okay, I apologize for the bad camera angle here and the fact that you really can't see. But I'm tinning up the iron. I'm going to tin up this red wire, which has to go onto the first lug of the volume pot where my treble bleed circuit is. So now put some solder, tin that up. This is going to be difficult. I have room to work with. I'm going to use one of these heat sinks, these little clips. These are aluminum clips made by Boot, made in Japan. They're awesome. You can clip little components together, wires onto things, and what it does is it dissipates the heat away from your important parts. It lets the solder take hold, but it doesn't let the part get overheated. It sucks the heat away so you don't melt your wires and melt your connections and everything else. So I'm going to see if I can clip this on here with this somehow. This is going to be difficult because I have that treble bleed. But it looks like there might be some, I might not have to do that. I might be able to go in here behind this. There may be enough of a hole. Ah, son of a bitch. Apparently I don't have this tinned as well as I thought I did. think I actually got it through the hole. Can't tell. No. Damn it. You know what? Switch to the big boy glasses. This is not working. Fuck this. Okay, after much struggling, I think I finally got it. Okay, it's in there. Everything's tight. Tighten these down. All right. Now it's time to test it. Okay, everything's in here. I have it hooked up to my amp. And now's the time that we test. Volume up. Hear that? Yeah, we got connection. Sweet. Okay. Well, that was nerve-wracking. It's always nerve-wracking. But piece base is now wired up. Now all I have to do is put some strings on here and put some strings on here, and we'll tune it up, check out the action, get it set up, and then we'll see how the finished product sounds. So thanks for tuning in. This was very excruciating, and I'm glad it's done. One thing I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to put these pickup screws in till I put the strings on and we work on it a little bit. I might put a couple in just to hold it, but I'm not going to go through that and then have to take them all out again. Good tip to remember. Okay, anyway, thanks for tuning in, and next video we're going to have some strings on this bad boy and see what it sounds like. Till then, don't forget to subscribe. Peace, bass, peace, bass, peace, bass, peace, bass.